Hey, this is Raleigh, and in this step, I'm going to show you the very first thing I do when I'm trying to solve indexing issues with a site in Google. And the first thing I do is I go and I search site colon and then the URL of the site, just like I have here. And when you search like that, it only pulls up results from the site that you're searching, from that domain or URL. So when I first look at the first page here, I notice a ton of issues immediately that may not be apparent to someone who hasn't really looked at this before or kind of used this as a troubleshooting tool for indexing problems. But I'm going to rifle through a lot of the things that I see here, and then I'll come back around and I'll talk a little bit more about each in detail. So first, I'm just going to go through and point out a bunch of stuff that I notice, and then I'll come back around and talk about kind of how that's addressed, as well as um, where that gets fixed in the next steps, maybe of my indexing troubleshooting. So first thing I notice here is that the title tag on the home page is too long. It's trailing off, so it needs to be shortened. Also, the meta description is too short. It could come down to 2 lines. That doesn't have to be that way, but something you could optimize better. The next thing I notice here is that the very second page that Google is giving credit to is the second page of the blog. And I noticed that the title on that page is newer post, as well as on page 3 of the archives of the blog, it's also newer post. So you have duplicate page titles on those archive pages, and those really shouldn't be indexed at all in the first place. So I'm just going to keep moving here. We get to the contact page. That's a good one to see on the first page when you search in Google like this, because your contact page should be one of the higher ranked pages for your site, the more common linked to on every page and all that. So that's good that that's here. But what I do notice is that the title tag is doubling up the name of the site as the suffix for the title, and I'm seeing that on some of these other pages too, so that's an issue that needs to be fixed. As I go down, again, this page shouldn't be indexed. It's an archive page that should be set to no index. As I go down, there's a second home page, which is really strange. I don't know if it's a duplicate of this one or what, but I would look into that and see if they're the same page and go about maybe removing one of those. Also, there's no meta description on that page. It's just pulling from the page. And then as I get down here, I notice that these are all the categories. And I know that the way this site is set up is that the navigation links are the categories, and they just have content underneath them. So these categories should probably be listed in Google's index. On many other sites, we'll often no index the categories as well as the tags. But in this case, it's okay. But what I'm noticing is that for the lifestyle, family, fashion categories, food, they need to have the meta description set. It's just pulling from the navigation on the site, and so they need to each have a unique meta description set on those. So those are some of the things I'm noticing on the first page here. So what you want to do is then go maybe to the second page and see what else you're finding, and maybe see if you can pull anything out. So right here we have the author archives for the blog are indexing, and normally we set those to no index because you'll get duplicate content issues with the author archives and like the category archives, and your regular blog they'll sometimes pull up all the same post, therefore like being the exact same as each other and causing duplicate content problems. So as we go down here, we see kind of the same things I was talking about, but at this point I might go to page 10 and see what are the least, the ones that are the very last page, so even to 14, 18. And it's strange that there's so many pages on this site when I know that she doesn't have 258 posts and pages. So what's happening here is maybe she's using tags, and those are getting indexed somewhere in here, or we also have attachment pages getting indexed. So a lot of what I'm seeing here is sort of inherent of a lot of sites that have not set their original WordPress settings and or properly installed a WordPress plugin and set it up properly. So a lot of these issues that I'm seeing in this initial site search are solved by setting up. I would use WordPress SEO by Yoast plugin on this site, and then set up. It's just a series of checkboxes and settings in order to fix a lot of this. At which point, you would have to wait for the Google crawlers to come back and recrawl the site and reindex it. And in order to maybe speed up that process, you would want to maybe regenerate and resubmit a sitemap to Google Webmaster Tools, and as well as fetch as Google within Google Webmaster Tools. So those are kind of the things I'm noticing. If I might as well show you one more example of another site. So I'm just going to use my personal website here, which I know is not perfect, but it kind of illustrates more what you'd want to see. And so here I have my home page, my work page. This is kind of, the thing I do all my work through. I separate it from my, personal side of the site. It's my about page, my blog, my contact page. This thank you page should not be indexed. That's after someone submits a form. So I would go in there and set this page to no index, which I've actually already done. And because you don't want that showing up in the search engines, the only people you want going to that are people who have completed a form on your site or taken a certain action. But then we have my work blog here, and then we have some of my top posts showing up. And so if I go to the very last page, I only have 77 results in here, which is about my post and pages totaled up. But we also have these. And so these are some theme files that Google shouldn't be crawling into the themes directory here and indexing these files, but it is for some reason. So you'd want to input some special code into the robots.txt file in order to stop the crawlers from going into this directory, which is a fix that I will cover elsewhere. But you can see, I should actually only have about 6 pages of content here, but we have these theme files mixed in there. So that's something that I would want to fix on my site. But the main purpose here is to show you how you can discover those things at the end of the results, as well as how it should look on the first page of results here. So these all have unique meta descriptions and titles, and nice and clean, and the highest priority pages are at the top. So I'm sorry if I moved a little quick on that for you, but feel free to watch the video over again, and I encourage you to use this as a starting point when trying to troubleshoot indexing problems with Google and your site. So thanks for listening. Look forward to helping you further with other videos like this. Thanks.